Do you ever find it a little bit awkward to go up to a person or a group of people to introduce yourself and to try to be a part of that group or that conversation? If you've ever struggled with that, then keep on listening. This episode is for you.
You were the good one, the rule follower, the peacekeeper, always putting others first, just like they taught you. But those good behaviors weren't preparing you for success, they were training you for compliance. If you're exhausted from always putting others first and managing everyone's emotions while your dreams take a back seat, what if I told you that that's the same emotional intelligence that is your untapped superpower? Hi, I'm Rico Armstrong, and this is the podcast that helps you break free from the people-pleasing compliance trap and master the hidden language of influence and leadership that transforms your dream career and relationships into reality.
Now, I got to tell you that what inspired this episode was an experience that I literally had today. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you might see that the background's a little bit different, and the reason is because this was such a spontaneous episode of something I just experienced, and I thought, man, this is probably the experience of people who really try to put themselves out there to introduce themselves to other people and are afraid that they're going to give a bad impression. So, what happened is I'm in this kind of studio office of sorts, and I was talking with one of the employees that helps run the facility. And we were having like a nice in-depth conversation about helping people and how we can do that with our respective businesses. And then all of a sudden, this group of people show up, and one person from that group comes to where me and this other person, her name is Aaliyah, we were talking, and again, in deep conversation. And he comes with like a bag of food and with a nice smile. He's a handsome dude. And he says, "Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you guys are in a conversation, but my name is," and he said whatever his name is. And he said, "I just think it's important that, that we try to introduce ourselves." And he completely derails the train of thought and the conversation that Ali and I were having. That was a really good conversation that we were like in. You know, have you ever had that experience before? Somebody's like you're having a conversation, somebody just butts in, and you and your friend are just looking at that person like, so what are you here for? And so what happened in this instance is, okay, Lee and I are like, okay, this guy's probably not going to be here for long. He's probably from DoorDash. He's probably figuring out where to deliver this bag of food to. Turns out that wasn't the case at all. Again, as he stated, he just felt like it was important to introduce himself. He thought that we were part of that big group that was coming in. And that was kind of where things went south because he he missed the one rule that if you've been on this channel, and if you've been on this podcast, it's the thing that we start with when we're having conversations with people. And that's leading with curiosity. And other than asking our names, there was nothing about what he did that led with curiosity. In fact, he led with a lot of assumptions that he wasn't curious to clarify, right? And so when he assumed that we were just part of this group, when that meant that when he was interrupting our conversation, he just thought it would be okay. When he didn't lead with curiosity to see what Ali and I were talking about and seeing how he might be able to contribute to that discussion in a way that benefits all of us, because he didn't lead with that kind of curiosity, Ali and I are just sitting here like, okay, when is this conversation with this guy going to end? Because this guy, as nice and as pleasant as he was, wasn't contributing to the moment that we were having in that conversation. He literally came in to talk about himself and his purpose and his goals. And even though, again, he wasn't trying to be rude, in fact, one of the things that he did that I thought was nice is he acknowledged that he was interrupting our conversation. The problem with that is he didn't do anything to try to add to the conversation or be curious about the conversation that he was interrupting. And I think when we are like him, if you see yourself in this person that I'm describing, you might in your head be like, this is the reason why I am terrified of meeting new people.
Hey, real quick, you have a choice. You can either stay trapped in the exhausting compliance of people pleasing, or you can transform your natural gifts into influential power. And this is why you're invited to the Impact Leaders Circle, where empathetic professionals like yourself become influential leaders. Now, if you decide to be a VIP member of this circle, you can get up to $4,500 in bonuses. That includes the $1,000 Communication Mastery Program. And there's only 20 spots available to be a VIP member of that circle. However, if you just want to be a part of the circle and not necessarily a VIP with the $4,500 of bonuses, that's okay. We will still give you that $1,000 communication mastery program for free. So, if you want to take one of those 20 spots in the VIP or just simply join the circle, make sure to visit highlyeffectivecommunication.com.
Now, again, this guy did a couple things right. Like he used great gestures with his hands that were free. He had a nice warm smile. He introduced himself. He gave a nice handshake. He did a lot of things well. But simply missing the one element of leading with curiosity. That was the one element that was missing, that if he had just done that, his impression would have been way nicer. And so when he left, Aaliyah was asking me, he's like, so yeah, you teach communication skills? And I said, yes, I have a whole course and stuff. And he goes, well, how do you do that? Like, what do you think about like the best way to communicate? And I said, well, let's take example of this guy that just interrupted us. Because the thing about it is that as annoyed as I was, I can also see it on Aaliyah's face. She was very pleasant and very professional, but as soon as he left, there was just like this, for in a microsecond, this micro expression of relief. Ah, thank goodness he's gone. We can get back to this conversation. And so when I said and described this guy and where he went wrong, she laughed because it was the truth. And then she goes, do you analyze conversations all the time this way? And I was like, well, maybe not consciously, unless I'm just like really annoyed. And then I start to wonder, what are the mistakes or what are the things that I could do differently if I was in this situation? And so if you're terrified of talking with people, again, do the things that he did well. This guy, again, smile, gesture, but lead with curiosity, because, and this is going to sound kind of harsh, but this is the truth. Nobody cares about your thought, your opinion, your goals, your purpose when you are the new person coming in, or when you're the unknown. Sharing what you think might be interesting in your life, or interesting facts or knowledge that you've acquired according to you, means very little to the people that you're introducing yourself to, especially if you're introducing yourself to a group of people. Keep this in mind if you're a new employee, if you are a new manager, have a new title. What people really care about is how can you serve them? How can you help this person or this group to thrive better than they currently are? And if you lead with curiosity when you're in that, approaching this group and approaching these conversations, you're going to show more interest in what is interesting to them. And they are more likely to respond in a way that they will open up to you. Once that happens, they now like you and they now trust you because they got to share something of interest from them to you. That's the goal. That's the goal of when you meet somebody new for the first time, or a group of people for the first time. I do want to give this guy props because one thing that I really appreciate, even though I was annoyed that he derailed a really nice flow of a conversation that Ali and I were in, one thing that I really, really appreciate about him is his boldness to try. And so, even though I am a communications expert and coach, I really applaud people who are bold enough to do something that might feel awkward or scary in the pursuit of getting better. And the reality is, nobody does things perfectly the first time. I've been doing this for years, and I still fumble and mess up from time to time. I'm just okay with making the mistakes by now because I've practically made all the mistakes. And what I realized, I'm still here, and can still have an impact on people's lives, and I can still be effective on the whole when I talk to people. And so, again, for you, if you are nervous, and especially since 2020 and COVID, we were all locked up, it seems like this ability to communicate has been more difficult. But the reality is, if you can be bold to try to communicate with the people, especially new people, the one most important thing that I can tell you is to lead with curiosity and be get them to open up to you. And if you can do that in a non-pushy way, it is amazing how easy it becomes to have that charisma, that likability, to quickly gain influence and to eventually have people interested in your experience and in your knowledge. All it takes is leading with curiosity. So be bold. You can expect that you won't be perfect every time. Like, expect that and be okay with that because you will still do better than the other ones who have been too afraid to approach people. And if you're looking for the tools that is going to help you to master communication skills, make sure to check out highlyeffectivecommunication.com. If you join the Impact Leaders Circle, there's a whole communication mastery course that you can get for free just by being a part of that circle group. So, thank you guys for listening, and I look forward to talking with you next time.
Now, if today's episode resonated with you, check out our Impact Leaders Circle on our website. And until next time, remember, you weren't taught to communicate, you were taught to comply. But you are more than just a people pleaser. Let's rewrite that script.